Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Virgo January 2023 weekly illumination reading. Hi, everyone, and welcome. So this is I Am Illuminated Tarot, a place for you to better connect with and illuminate your own personal spiritual importance. And so in this reading, we're going to be taking a look at the energy of the week for you, Virgo. We're going to be first looking at what you're bringing to the week. Then we'll be looking at what's going on around you. And then we'll dive into either a challenge or a block and then an opportunity that's going to be coming up. So we have, the High Priestess. Great energy for you, Virgo. That's the energy you're bringing. Now, the High Priestess is the energy of a deep knowing. It's actually represented by the number 2 in the tarot, which does speak to a decision being made. And so for many of you, you may be entering this week with that kind of deep understanding that there is a decision that has been made and it's on a deeply intuitive level. Now, in your external environment, we have the Knight of Swords, we have the Seven of Swords, and we have the Ace of Cups. There's a feeling here for some of you Virgos that there is a little bit of what I would say is running from love. There's a little bit of that going on here in your external environment, whether this is you or possibly someone else. So the Knight of Swords here, as you can see, is an individual who's kind of going in to speak their truth. They're taking action, and it's usually very quick, can be sometimes blunt communication. And I think for some of you, there may be one of two things, either something that you want to say or that needs to be said to you. Again, the energy can be reversed. So this may be that there is someone right now that wants to come in and actually communicate that there is a fear around love. Because we have the Ace of Cups, and the Ace of Cups is really leaning into love, leaning into the fresh start in love, a reconnection, a deep reconnection to love of self. It's just a beautiful energy. But there is someone here who is communicating something around the avoidance of this. So whether this is you or whether this is someone in your experience bringing in this type of communication, but there's something here around, again, an avoidance of leaning into love. Now, this could be that some of you are making the decision to communicate this to someone else, to say, this could be where you're in a relationship and you've made that decision to finally share how you're feeling with someone else or share your perspective. It could be that you're sitting with a decision, but someone may not understand that and may be coming in to share something with you. Now, looking up here, we're kind of going from the past up to the present. So in the past, we have the Emperor, followed by the Fool, followed by the Two of Wands. Now, the Emperor is a very strong energy. It is a very forceful energy. It is one where either we are using that energy in a way where it is very positive and we get that chance to really stand firm that we are the emperor of our own empire and we are in a seat of authority. Now, that can also be where someone else had kind of taken this position in your life. Now, with the Fool is a fresh start. This is literally, I think for some of you, maybe you had been sitting with this energy or there had been somebody in your life and you released yourself from that, because that's what the Fool speaks to. It speaks to the new adventure. It speaks to kind of leaving everything behind, taking a very light carry with you. He just has his little stick with his little bag there, and he's ready to kind of leap off the cliff into the unknown, into the new. And that new is leading you now to a decision. So we have another 2 over here, a 2 of Wands, a decision as to where do I take action from here? Where do I go from here? What do I want for my future self? It's kind of like coming to a crossroads. And for many of you, you're sitting with this decision, and deep within, you know what that is that you want. So I'm going to go here and we're going to, now I'm using an actual slightly different deck this week. I'm getting back in with my Light Seers Tarot just because I used it actually for my Aquarius new moon predictions and I really enjoyed using it again. So I'm bringing it out this week. 10 of Swords. So 10 of Swords is in your main challenge block position for the week. The 10 of Swords is release. It's getting to that point where we are truly releasing a time in our life that was very difficult, a time in our life that brought us to our knees. And I think for many of you, you know it's that time. You know it's time to kind of let the birds carry away the pain and step into the new horizon. But that can be difficult. That can be very difficult, especially if you're being faced with the possibility of new love after, for some of you, maybe there was an ending of a relationship of love. That could be, where the emperor comes in here, where it was kind of like a hard stop. Either someone imposed their will or you imposed your will. And there was kind of a hard stop to something. And this could be, I'm seeing it around love just with the Ace of Cups there. I mean, this could also be, bringing this into the work environment or anything that you might love, a passion, a hobby, something along those lines. But we have the Knight of Pentacles following this. Now, this is your energy, Virgo, right here. So for many of you, you're kind of blocking yourself from being able to chart the course ahead, take the slow and steady movements towards something that you want to build, to grow, because you're still kind of stuck in the pain of the past. And you're really being asked at this point to release it. And I think you know the decision you want to make. The course of action you want to move towards. I think for many of you, this right here, the Two of Wands, you've made the decision. But there still is this feeling here of, I think, trying to run from something that again, is directly linked to the Ten of Swords, to this point that really brought you to your knees. We've all been there. We've all gone through moments like that. This can be, again, the loss of a relationship. This can be the loss of a job that you dearly loved on a career path that you were passionate about. This can be the loss of a family member. There are all kinds of things that can happen in our life that bring us to our knees and make us fearful of going back out again. And oh my goodness, this is as double confirmation as we can get here. We have the Nine of Wands, we have the Ace of Cups again, and here's the Knight of Swords again. So you have the two cards from your external energy coming up in here. So what you're being asked to embrace this week, the Nine of Wands, is a card that Spirit is saying, take a look at where you feel exhausted. Take a look at where you feel like you just can't go again. This is the energy of kind of the weary, wounded warrior who's come so far. And it's like, oh my gosh, to hear that you have to go out to battle one more time, to know that you have to make one more decision, it's difficult. It can feel like you're exhausted. And you may have gone through something recently. I mean, this could even be just the energy of, the week exhausting you. And you're kind of in this place of like, I know I kind of need to release this. I know I need to, do certain things and make a decision here, but I'm just, and this is saying it's time for you to nurture yourself, to really take a look at, where you're burning yourself out, where you need to really kind of stop, slow down. And really, there's always the opportunity with the nines to learn something. This is a number of the magic that comes when we learn through direct experience and we get to take those lessons forward into a new cycle. And I think there's I'm getting intuitively with this card for many of you, a time to stop and really look at how far you've come. Look at how much you've gone through, how strong you are, how much stronger you are because of that. And really get firm in that. Because yes, with the Ace of Cups on the other side of this, there is new love for you. There is literally the chance for new romantic love, the chance to fall back in love with yourself and life. But this is the open chalice. This is the opportunity, and you're being presented with that. And the Knight of Swords is saying it's time to go. It's time to go in search of this love. It's time to go speak and communicate from this place. You can see this individual is running towards his motorcycle. He's ready to get on there and to go out and find this love. Go out and meet it. And I think that's what's going on here, is that you're being asked to do that. But here is that individual on the horse. Here's that knight, and he's trying to run away from love. So for many of you, this is time to kind of turn the horse around and run towards love, to take action towards love. And it's beautiful. And this is your main point of challenge here, to really kind of break through, to experience this new opportunity in love. This is a very clear message coming through, Virgo. I hope it does resonate with some of you. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pull a few clarifiers here just to get a little deeper into the message, and then we'll pull a final card for the week. So let's see, what does Virgo need to know about the Ten of Swords? What does Virgo need to know about the Ten of Swords? We have the Queen of Coins. Yeah, something you would want to nurture into existence. For some of you, this could be also around motherhood, wanting to be a mother, wanting to have children, and that dream was not realized. It could also be that you had tried to nurture something into existence. That's really what the Queen of Coins speaks to, this kind of single-minded, dedicated focus. And it didn't come to fruition. And that can always be difficult. You know, I've been there myself. I tried to make my first marriage work, in spite of everything. And finally, at some point, you have to realize, as much as you've tried, sometimes two people just aren't right for each other. Now, with the Nine of Swords coming in, I think, there's a lot of worry around this. For some of you, you really want to nurture something into existence again. You want to try again. Or this could be that you literally are a parent. There is a lot to be said with the Queen of Coins coming up here with the Ten of Swords, that for some of you, maybe you've just become a parent, or you are pregnant, or you are looking to become pregnant, and there's a lot of worry around that. And it could be because of a past experience, or it could be just that the past is haunting you because you had tried and it did not work out, and now you're looking to do so again. But this is saying there's every opportunity here for that. There was a hard end to something in the past, and you went out as the fool, as the brave fool with full faith. So keep that in mind. I find in life that when we go out in full faith like that, the divine comes in to always lend us a helping hand, and to, when we don't give up on a deep dream of ours because of past hurt or pain or a perceived failure of that we get a second chance. I'm a big believer in miracles that help lend towards second chances. My life does speak to that. I was in a marriage for many years. It did not come to the fruition that I had been hoping for. And even though it took me almost 7 years from that point of dissolving that marriage and moving forward, I now have the family and the home and the loving partner. And it took a lot of faith to go out there. So with the Knight of Pentacles, we have the Ten of Swords coming up here for the clarifier. So the Ten of Swords does link directly to a long-term plan that you had, and it didn't work. And I think for many of you, you were kind of taking the slow and steady approach, and you were brought to your knees. And that could be very frustrating. Very disappointing. Would not be surprised if the Five of Cups comes out here at some point. I'll see if I can get any other cards for that Knight of Pentacles there. But I really feel like more than anything, that's just showing that's you. That's you being brought to your knees. You were trying to do it the right way. That's kind of what the Knight of Pentacles can speak to as well. Trying to do things the right way. I was trying to follow the rules. I was trying to take one step at a time, and it didn't work out. And this, Four of Wands directly relates to a foundation, and generally this can relate to the foundation of a marriage. And something in the past didn't work out in that way, and it was very frustrating. I can see, very upsetting. And this is saying, well, it may not mean that you have to do things exactly in the same way. That maybe you tried it the right way, and now it's time to try it your way, Virgo. Okay, so for the Nine of Wands, we have the Three of Wands, and we have the Knight of Cups in the Tower. Ooh, yeah. So Three of Wands, you've been waiting for your ships to come in. There's things that you're hoping are going to come in for you. That's what the Three of Wands speaks to. And I think you're kind of at this point of like, I'm just tired. I want something to happen. And with the Knight of Cups in the Tower, there's kind of a loss of innocence here is what I'm seeing. That there's like these rose-colored glasses that you had on around what you were kind of pulling towards yourself or what you were hoping was going to come in. The Tower came in to release you from something that was not suitable for you. Again, whether this was a relationship or whether this was a career path or whether this was just even a living situation. There was something here where you needed to that again, you would have been stuck because of the rose-colored glasses, because you were in this Knight of Cups, I'm going to kind of see everything from this romantic sensibility. And the Tower came in and said, we're going to get rid of everything that doesn't actually, basically, we're going to come in and take away what doesn't serve you. And it's unfortunately what you can't see. And I think for many of you, you've been kind of stuck in that place since without realizing, wow, there's a moment of gratitude, I think, that we get to at a certain point. And this can really speak to that Nine of Wands, where we get to actually look back, see how far we've come, see where there was perceived loss, and realize, wow, if that had gone differently, I might not actually have the opportunity I have here. And look at what comes up with the Ace of Cups. The Knight of Coins again, the Knight of Pentacles. Here's you again on the other side with the Ten of Cups. That is the happy family card. That is the marriage card. That is, I have so much abundance on an emotional level in my life that I have a wealth of emotional abundance to share with others. And this is what you actually have at your disposal right now. And I think for many of you, you're running from truly leaning into it. Let's put it that way. You might not be physically running from a new relationship or running from the child you just gave birth to, but you're afraid to lean into it because in the past it was taken away. And now it's coming in again, and you have every opportunity to make it happen. And yeah, we have the Three of Swords with the Knight of Swords. It's the pain of the past. It's the heartache. And it's saying it's time for you to leave that behind. Yes, you might be able to communicate that to an individual. I think that sometimes when we share vulnerably is one of the most amazing ways that we can really get closer to another person. But this can also be saying it's time to leave that behind. And then we have the Star and the Five of Coins. Yeah, for many of you, there's also a little bit of this fear. I think there's the Star is a beautiful energy. That is one of, and I just looked at the bottom, so I'll go over the bottom of the deck here too. We have the Six of Swords. But the Star is that following that beautiful guiding light dream for yourself. So it's like if you've always wanted something, and it didn't happen before, you have another chance at it this time. But I think for many of you, there's this feeling here that it's going to lead to kind of a lack in your physical experience. Like, for instance, I'm going to give you a clear example of what I experienced in my life. So a beautiful dream that I had always hoped for was to be able to have a loving partner, a beautiful, stable home to call our own, and to have a child or children. And that was a guiding dream for myself. And part of that dream was that I would be able to be a stay-at-home parent, or at least be able to have a work schedule where I would be in the home with my child. Now, when I had to go through the divorce with my ex, there was, a disappointment. I didn't have children. I was not getting anywhere closer to that dream. And yes, I was in my mid-30s. So at that point, the clock is ticking for a woman. And, I did not give up on that dream. But when I was finally presented with it, in my current experience, there was this fear when I had the chance to walk away from my 9-to-5 job to be able to then be in the home full time with my child, that there was this deep fear around the monetary loss. Now, even though we are fine in our money situation and in our physical situation, there was still this deep-seated fear around that because of my wounding around money in general. And that had a lot to do with what happened between me and my ex, where we had to actually go through a bankruptcy. And it was a very difficult, again, moment that brought me to my knees. But what I needed to realize is when I was presented with that again, I couldn't run from it. I couldn't run from the beauty of all that I had finally been gifted with, simply because I was afraid of what had happened in the past happening again. And with the Six of Swords down here at the bottom, this is a card of transcendence. It's a card truly of moving on from the pain of the past, so you open yourself up now to enjoy the present moment of what's trying to come in for you. And it's a lot of love. You have not only the Star, you also have the Ten of Cups. And for some of you, I think this communication point could literally be you communicating to another person to say, this is what I want, this is what I'm afraid of, and this is why I'm running from just embracing the beauty of this moment. This is where the pain comes from, and how can you help me move on from this? Can we chart a path together? But there is a level of communication, I think, that needs to happen has been avoided for quite some time. Okay, I'm going to pull one final card here for you guys. And let's see, this week I think I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pull from this oracle deck here. I'm trying to remember it's the Work Your Light Oracle. So there's a lot of light coming in. I have the Light Seers deck here, and we'll have your Work Your Light Oracle. So what does Virgo need to know about working your light? Ooh, we got quite a few. So we have Priestess. How are you being called to step up and lead? I love that. We have Mentaken, longing for home, belonging, the original light workers. And then we have the Crumbling. What are you clinging on to? And this card specifically, the Crumbling, speaks to the Tower. That's the card that represents the same energy here in this deck. So I think for many of you, there was this kind of loss of innocence at some point here, that you've been kind of stuck in that energy of, but it didn't work out before, or something happened in the past, and it's really stopped you from just like being the fool with full faith, just kind of taking that plunge off into love, or into the love of a dream, whatever the Star is for you. And the Crumbling shows that you may think the Tower is crumbling, but on the other side is heaven, is the beauty of life. So let the darkness crumble away and enjoy that. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pull just a couple clarifiers for these two cards, because there's some interesting messages I think that really want to come through there. So let's take a look at the Priestess. How are you being called to step up and lead? Now, this could be just simply stepping up to take leadership in your own experience, stepping into the Emperor position yourself to say, this is what I want, and I'm not going to let the heartaches or the disappointments from the past prevent me from knowing that it's still for me. The other thing too is we have to realize we have to be open to how things come in for us, because I can tell you, I tried to do things the right way the first time. When I say the right way, I mean, not living together before marriage, dating, then getting engaged, then getting married, then looking to start the family. And the second time around for me, it all happened jumbled and out of order. And I just had to go with it. And I love that it happened that way, because it was the perfect way for it to happen for me. And so keep that in mind for yourself, is that you might be maybe looking at it saying, well, I still have to do it the specific way. And it might be looking at it from a different perspective, that maybe it came in a different way for you, or wants to come in a different way for you. So really open yourself up to that. Now we have the Knight of Cups here again. So it's the same Knight of Cups here that unfortunately kind of, had to go through the Tower moment. The Knight of Cups and the Queen of Cups. This is saying it's time to love that innocent version of yourself again. Wherever there was that loss of innocence, that kind of held you back from having the rose-colored glasses and wanting to go out and share your cup with another with confidence and with vulnerability, it's saying it's time to get back into that energy. So where are you being called to step up and lead? You're being called to love yourself and to go back out there with full vulnerability. Put those rose-colored glasses back on, because that's what you're being asked. That's the leadership you're being called to step into here. And let's see about Mentaken, longing for home, belonging, the original light workers. We have Knight of Wands, so I love it. So some of you may be longing for a Sagittarius in your life. The Knight of Wands is a card of Sagittarius. You may be longing for a feeling that comes from the Sagittarian energy, which is freedom. It's the individual who goes out and truly wants to experience all that they can out of life. So there could be this kind of longing for that part of yourself that was free at one point, that you kind of felt that way, okay, yeah, with the world on top, yeah, this can either be one of two things, because the world comes in, that's a hard stop, that's an end to a major cycle. And it says that whatever this was over. So for many of you, there's two stories coming through here very clearly. You've been kind of longing for a long time for an individual who harnessed the Sagittarian energy, and that has come to an end. It's done, unfortunately. Or you have been longing for a part of yourself that felt free at one point, but that had kind of come to an end because of circumstances. And it's saying that, unfortunately, maybe this longing for whatever this was, it has come to an end. But now it's time to start a new adventure. And a new adventure this time is going to be less around taking action and more around getting into the heart space. This is going to be an adventure on an emotional level that's going to lead to great happiness and joy. What a beautiful message, Virgo. I'm going to leave it there. I hope you all have a wonderful week. And if you'd like to book a personal reading, you can click on the link in the description box below. I also have new moon predictions up that I posted over the weekend for all signs. It's time-stamped. And this was a really amazing super new moon in the sign of Aquarius. It happened on Saturday, January 21st. It is a portal moon to the new version of ourselves and the new lives we want to lead moving forward. So if you'd like to check that out, that is also up on my channel. Otherwise, I will see you all next week, Virgo, for your next weekly illumination reading. Bye, everyone.